Ingrid Chen. I graduated in December 2008, I believe. I want to say it was December 2008 from OCI, and I'm currently the chef at Remedy Wine Bar. We have been open for, I want to say 2.5 months at this point. 2.5 months. We opened on June 21st. So the owner of Remedy, Michael Madigan, came to me and asked me if I wanted to pick up more hours. It was very cryptic. He didn't explain what it was, and then a couple weeks later he told me that he wanted to build out this wine bar. The space had become open. They wanted me to do the food, and they wanted to give me an opportunity to, you know, be creative and put my food out there, which was awesome.
Yeah, this is my little baby kitchen here, and I have like an induction burner set up here, and a convection oven, and those are the two little things that I have. So it's a very prep heavy menu. The entire menu is I just basically have to make sure that, you know, it's like stick it on a sizzle platter, put it in the oven, pull it out, stick it on a plate, and it looks beautiful. Or, you know, just like a quick saute or something on the induction burner. I played with the idea of going to culinary school for a while, but to be honest, I was scared. I worked in restaurants for a long time. I'd worked front of house service for a really long time, but I didn't feel fully confident that I could handle culinary school. And I was really kind of in love with what was going on in Portland at the time as far as food, and I knew that this is where I wanted to stay. This is where I wanted to live, so it made sense for me to check out a school here. Of course, I went to OCI, and I did the tour, and it was really, really friendly, and everybody seemed like a real person. I remember meeting Brian Wilkie, and he said to me, you know, we don't want students here who don't want to be here. And I said, like, I was thinking to myself, like, that's such a smart thing, like, that totally makes sense. Of course, you know, like, of course you don't want people who don't want to be here, because, you know, and there wasn't a hard sell. I didn't get that hard sell, and I just there was no BS. It was really, really straightforward, and everybody seemed really down to earth, and every single person I met, all the instructors, all the students, they all seemed really happy, and that sold it for me. I think about this a lot because I know that culinary school is, it's not a small expense. Even though a school like OCI, which is totally reasonably priced compared to a lot of culinary schools, it's still an expense. So you're still going to be spending, you know, thousands of dollars going to school. And so I've thought about this a lot, you know, when it comes to, like, I get this question all the time, would you recommend going to culinary school? And I would say that I wouldn't have done it any other way. Like, I'm really glad that I did it the way that I did, because I really needed that push and confidence. And I've worked with a lot of people who've come up through the ranks, just like started as a dishwasher and moved their way up, and that's a totally legit way to do it, and I recommend that to people if you feel that you can. But, you know, I started cooking, I started in school at kind of a later age, and I felt like I really wanted to get that kind of a jump start. So being able to go to school and make mistakes and, like, not be fired, you know, burn things and not be fired, you know, was like actually like a really good way to learn. And then not only that, like, I came to school early and I stayed late and I asked all these questions and I did all the extra credit, and it was really, I think that's like a really huge thing, to be able to take advantage of all of the resources that you have, because you're surrounded by all of these people who have so many years of experience and could answer any question that you could possibly have about cooking, about the life of a line cook, about working in kitchens, about catering, about, you know, food writing, about anything at all. And it was such an invaluable resource. I mean, I still, to this day, I feel like I still contact my culinary school instructors. About halfway through culinary school, I was starting to think to myself, like, I should get a job in a kitchen, because I see a lot of the students around me who are cleaner and faster and more efficient, have already had cooking experience in other kitchens, or are currently working in kitchens while they're in school. And I went out to happy hour with a friend at 10:01,
which is a restaurant in Portland, high-end restaurant in Portland at the time. She brought me there, and she had a friend in the kitchen, and her friend came out and was like, "Hey, we're looking for a pantry cook. Do you want to come in and stage?" I was like, okay, I guess. And I went back to the kitchen and I talked to the sous chef, and I don't think they took me seriously because I was wearing like high heels and a dress. And I came back the next day. I busted my butt, and they hired me that night. And suddenly I was working 40 hours a week at the restaurant, and then an additional 25 to 30 hours a week doing school. And that was really when I feel like the education kicked into high gear, because I was I had already, I don't think I would have done that stage. I know for a fact I wouldn't have done that stage if I hadn't been in culinary school. I think OCI does a really, really great job of kind of recreating that environment in a friendly way and a supportive way, but then also just like, this is not a joke. You're actually, especially I think about like the live fires and things like that, like the pressure that you feel for live fires. I mean, you're doing that pressure that you feel during live fire is every day. You know, that's what you're doing every single day, and you eventually get to the point where you're like, yeah, this is what I do. Like, that pressure that I feel is that's my job.
Well, thank you so much.
Sure.
This has been awesome. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you.